That's Kate Bush and Running Up That Hill, yet another classic that you get to catch on 1FM. It's the morning drive, and it's time for us to go live on Facebook with Financial Literacy 1-on-1 with Matthew Nixon. Matt, good morning. Thanks so much for joining us.
Hey.
Always good to see you.
Microphone for Matt. Okay. Today we're talking about single income families, I guess, and how you can thrive on a single income. If you're in that situation, you know anyone in that situation, and you have questions, pop them through on Facebook. We will try to answer as many as we possibly can.
Right, and don't forget that on our Facebook Live, answer a very simple question, and you might just win for yourself $150 worth of dining vouchers from the Crack House.
I love that. It's so good, Crack House, man. Matt, I was just telling Levy just now, if that place had opened up in the 80s, by now they'd have a chain of 12.
Oh, it'll be the Crack Houses.
I lived in Ireland for 2 years working there.
Did you?
And when I heard the word crack, I had to sit there and take a double take. I'm like, you know what? Because that means something completely different.
Yes, it does.
Different,
yeah. So.
But related in a way, because it's an Irish word that means good times and good fun.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, right, okay. Okay, let's not go there. We want to keep our license.
Yes.
Okay, so here we go. Let's get right into this. Single incomes. I mean, we need to talk real life strategies. We need to talk everyday money questions.
Yeah.
What are some of the most common financial struggles that single income households really face these days?
So I think this is a topic that there's many different, it's a complicated topic.
It is.
Because what we're talking about is various different situations that people can get in for single income. You know, they can be divorced. They could be widowed.
Yes.
They could be unwed with a child.
Yes.
So really is to kind of break this down. So what I wanted to really say today is that, you know, in the seriousness, that there's no shame in the situation for anything. So there's got to be empathy for everything. So the recommendations might not fit one size fits all, but I'd like to go back to really the 4 pillars that we talked about. The very one is, you know, when we talk about debt, savings, budgeting, and investing. I think when it comes to single income families, really budgeting is the top one, right?
Yeah.
And this is where the discipline really has to probably be there more than you have for
double income.
For double income, right? So and then also you really need to prioritize the protection of that person who's actually working.
That's
so
true.
this is where hospitalization, you know, your MediShield, your integrated shield plan, and if you can afford a child rider to have that extra protection for them is really good.
Yep.
Automating savings is something that we like to talk about. You know, how many bank accounts do you guys have? That's one of my questions was, how many bank accounts do you guys have personally? Because if you have a couple bank accounts, you've got one for your family expenses.
Yes.
Then you have one that you set aside that basically when you get paid, it goes directly into that money account, and that way it can't be touched. It's for your emergency fund. That's a really easy way to automate your savings.
Okay, so I run 2 bank accounts.
Yeah, I
do.
think I get what you are saying here, that use the bank accounts or opening another bank account to assist in you achieving, you know, 4 good strong pillars, right, to building financial health, right? Good financial health. We're going to head on over to Facebook Live and chat even more. Come and join us to also find out what is that Facebook Live question to win you those vouchers from the Crack House.
Okay, so we're talking about running 2. Let's just stick with this for a little while. Two different bank accounts. So what I do is I get the salary.
Yep.
I put it into one bank account.
Yep.
And then I leave what I need to live in that bank account, and I transfer the rest to a bank account that I use for savings. That is the correct way to do it, right?
Yes, yep.
That's the way to do it. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So many single parents say it feels almost impossible to save. I completely understand that because when I started out my married life, we were a single income family, and it is tough.
Sure.
What's the first realistic step that they can take towards building some kind of financial security?
Okay, so I think for when we talk about how we can do this is you really need to prioritize paying down your debt first. So I think really with single family incomes. It's really kind of going through and making sure you're not getting those high risk credit cards, and the way you're actually getting your money. If you need, there's others. We'll talk about this in a bit, but there's other circumstances you can do. I think the government has excellent programs for every different steps of people within the different situations we have.
Sure.
So I also like to say is really kind of getting your kids involved as well when they get old enough, to the age. And I kind of wanted to ask us to throw a question was, when was the first time you guys had your first job, right? Because I know there's different, I could tell for myself, my first job was 15 years old busking tables. And that was more for me to start having my own kind of financial, having money of my own.
Yep.
So, kids can still work. I think at 13 in Singapore, you can actually have your first job on school holidays.
On school holidays, part-time work. I was probably 17 when I started working, because that's when my family split up, so I had no choice.
I mean, I was probably just a few years older, but it was a part-time job. So I don't really think it counts.
I was working full-time at 17.
Wow. Yeah. FD, you are a champion.
No, I had
a super trooper.
I had no
I know
choice.
You had no choice, but you stepped up. You stepped up.
Someone had to help mom. There was no choice.
No, but other kids could have just but you stepped up. You stepped up.
Sister had to go to school. My brother wasn't here, so somebody had to step up, I guess.
Aww.
Yeah, well, that's the way it is. Okay. So what's next? So when there's only one income,
yes,
there's also that unexpected expense. It happened, as much as we try to plan, it still happens to me. As much as you try to plan, there are those unexpected expenses, and it just throws everything out of whack.
Correct.
So,
correct.
With a single income, how do you build that emergency fund, to handle these unexpected things that seem to happen every other month?
Yes. So building your emergency fund is priority. I think if we look at the prioritization of, let's just do for prioritization of debt impact of where that happens on families for this first, and then kind of walk through of where we can actually look for, different ways to kind of schemes.
Sure.
Okay. So, I think I mentioned this in one of the very beginnings of one of our first episodes, and the Credit Counseling Singapore, which is the website is ccs.org.sg.
Okay.
This is really to use them if your credit cards are out of control for borrowing so much.
Sure.
Really use that as a place to kind of, pay those loans down.
Okay.
Really look for assistance outside of looking for, don't go to loan sharks, don't go to money, even money lenders today. There's good ones in there, but really look for, there's a temporary relief fund for family services. The FSC is good. And also, if you really need to kind of look for some immediate income for emergency problems that happen right away, please contact a social services office, because they have multiple different ways to help.
That's
so
great.
Just to name a few, is one for families is the ComCare.
Okay.
This is for temporary financial aid. So it's a short to medium term assistance, which provides financial aid for low-income Singaporeans to cover basic needs like food, transport, household bills.
Yeah.
So this assistance can actually kind of help to, I think, the period from 3 to 6 months. That's one way. Yeah.
Okay.
Another one is this, I said various different ways. So if you have the baby bonus and the child development account is very good. That's another one. I think when we start talking about incomes, I wanted to have a question beforehand, but 27% of the Singaporean population is considered in a single income. So that's actually 1 in 4. So it's actually quite a lot.
Wow.
And the study was also done to where how much the average Singaporean needs based on a survey that was done in 2021.
Okay.
And that amount was around $3,200. But if you look at the stats today, as of February 2025, the survey was done, the 10% of lowest income is only making $2,400. So there's a shortfall.
Oh, gosh.
So I found something that I think what's really good is if you go to the Workfare Income Supplement, this actually is a scheme that provides cash to lower wage Singaporean income workers to supplement their income in retirement savings. So not only does it give you cash, they also put money into your CPF account.
Oh, that's really good.
Yes.
Oh, that's good.
That's really thinking about the needs of the situation.
Yeah, there is a needs. And I think for moms out there who have kids, the Working Mothers Child Relief Fund, which is the WMCR, so these are available to working mothers who are either married, divorced, widowed, and they have taxable income earnings. So what the government will do is they will give you a relief of $8,000 for the first child, $10,000 for the second child, and $12,000 for the third child if the child was born on or after the 1st of Jan 2024.
Okay.
But you have to sign up for it.
Yes. So all of these different schemes says there is a process, but I think the government makes it sure to really go through and get these process quickly. So there might be a month or two to submit all the documentations, but this is where the circumstances but there are support systems out there. And then also there's the parent relief for people looking after elderly parents. That's another one I'd like to mention too. Yeah.
So there are a lot of these relief packages and places and platforms to go to that we've mentioned on the show. Some of you may not have caught them all. Remember to go back to our Facebook Live or to our YouTube channel, rewatch this video and take notes as to where you can go. We've also got our question running across the bottom of the screen. A great prize to be won today. The prize that we're giving away is $150 worth of dining vouchers from the Crack House. All you've got to love that one. All you've got to do is answer the question that's scrolling across the screen. Okay, what is your perfect salary?
Alrighty, we're going to be heading back on air very, very soon. Let me just tell you a little bit about the Crack House, okay? Yes, so crack is actually an Irish word. It's spelled as CRAIC, and it's an Irish word that means good times and good fun. And I think that can very well be had over at this brand new Irish pub where it's all about all things Irish. You will find Guinness on tap from Dublin and over 25 Irish whiskies and very hearty Irish fare. So definitely the place to head to. They're located at Riverside Point, just opposite Clark Quay. We head back on air.
Alrighty, that's Ricky Martin, living La Vida Loca. I hope you're having a good start to your morning. It is now 8:23 on your Wednesday, and we're talking about thriving with a single income. This is for single income families. Remember, if you have questions, just drop them by on our Facebook. Debts pile up, let's be honest, and they pile up very quickly for families relying on one income.
And actually, we just pointed out on Facebook Live, right? Matt, you were sharing with us about a survey being done in 2021 that the average amount that Singaporean needs to survive monthly, right, was $3,218 and $18, right? And then you found from a survey done this year.
Yes.
About the lowest wage earned is around, or average rate earned is about $2,434.
So
already there is
10% of the bounce, and then the top 10 earners in Singapore, $34,489. So the disparity gap is getting massive.
Wow.
That is yes. So that's about a $32,000 difference between the 10%. The top 10% versus the top bottom percent.
Sure. And also the fact that you gave us a very shocking statistics. You know, a single income household is actually more prevalent than we actually realize. You said actually it works out to be 1 in 4 Singaporeans. Yeah. That is a very, very huge statistic. Yeah.
It's a huge statistic.
Yeah.
Okay, so with these debts piling up quickly, especially for families with one income, what kind of advice? How do they tackle this debt without feeling like I'm forever trying to catch up?
Yeah.
So I think for what we need to look at is where the money's being spent. So I mentioned budgeting is very, very crucial.
Okay.
So you want to have your high risk priority debt. So that is, making sure your credit cards, any personal loans you take, any money lenders you have, pay those off as soon as possible. The good thing about credit cards these days is that you can go to banks and they can consolidate your credit for you, and you can actually have a deferred payment where you maybe can get 0% interest for 18 months, and you start paying that off. So take all your debt right there into one, and kind of look for better deals and shop around out there.
Okay.
If that's one of the ones.
Okay, that's one.
As I mentioned before, if you really need help, I would refer to the
CCS.
The Credit Counseling Singapore, ccs.org. .sg for professional help if it's out of control.
Yeah, and it's free.
And I think there's like a $30 surcharge.
So I think that's worthwhile.
It's very manageable. Yes. Okay. Also there's medium debt now. Not all families have car loans, but and education loans. But really try to reduce. I think when it comes to bills too, as well as your house, try to reduce. The common things.
Sure.
Shop around for cheaper electricity bills. Make sure your phone bill's not too high. I think one people get trapped is all these app fees. They do add up after a while.
So really just
really look at where you're spending kind of those medium amounts of money and really kind of if you can cut there. And then of course I think for most people if you have an HDB loan, you're actually quite well. It's 2.6%. It's been like that for a decade.
Yeah.
But if you have gotten into a situation where you're in a condo or you have your mortgage is weighing you down due to some circumstances, really look to refinance because right now rates are coming down with banks. So looking to refinance and get a better rate fee so that reduce your payments is actually a good way to kind of sit there and.
I would kind of summarize what you've just shared with us is that yes, you do have to do the legwork, you do have to do the homework, but there are ways that you can get started, right? Just don't be lazy about it. Don't think that your debt is going to go away, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing I wanted to ask, and this is personal, Matt. People with single incomes, they've got a credit card. To me, a credit card is money you don't have.
Yes.
Correct?
It is.
I'm correct.
Okay.
So, if that's the case, and you see debt piling up, is it possible, is it even a good thing to just get rid of the credit card?
Cut it up.
Yeah, I think we talked about this, right? Credit cards normally, I was taught that they're there for emergency purposes.
Yeah, but they never use that way.
They're not, no. And with all the perks you get from spending on the money, sometimes you do get free money from this.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you really need to look at your circumstances to where you shouldn't be living above your means. And I think we've talked about this in previous episodes. So it's really to where you need to bring down. If you're living off credit cards from paycheck to paycheck or to maintain your lifestyle, you need to really kind of look and look in the mirror and say, is this where I want to be? Because anything happens to you, if you get hurt or you can't work and all of a sudden, or you lose your job, that debt can be crippling and it can have some psychological effects. It can have family issues.
Sure.
So really look to don't use credit cards, but as a last means.
Okay. Great way for summarizing with that aspect to do with credit cards. We'll talk more about it. We're going to head on over to our Facebook Live. And hey, the question for our Facebook Live, in case you're wondering and you want to win those dining vouchers from the Crack House, what's your perfect salary? Tell us. Go crazy, I guess.
I'm thinking $1 trillion. If Musk can do it, so can I.
Yeah, well, he kind of owns this company. But it's good to dream high.
Dream high.
Okay, yeah. All right. $1 trillion for FD.
The Morning Drive.
So again, answer that very simple question. What's your perfect salary? You can do so by commenting on our Facebook Live, or you want to WhatsApp it in. Go ahead in order to win for yourself those dining vouchers from the Crack House. So FD has said he wants $1 trillion.
Musk can do it. Why not?
What would that tax bill be, though, on $1 trillion?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
But you know what? It's like chump change for these fellas.
Seriously.
If you own $1 trillion, who cares about the tax?
Tax me.
Right?
I don't care.
You'll see it as charity. That's how rich you are.
Yeah, we have people listening to us.
Sure.
Single income people.
Yes.
And they're going, you keep bringing up this whole thing about investing.
Yeah.
Now, how do single income families make a safe start and what's a smart way for them to start investing?
Like, I guess a manageable way, right?
A manageable way
so
for
that
them
you can
to do
keep
it
it going, right? Because it will help them in the long run.
Can they really do that whole 20% like everybody else? It's
That's
tough,
true.
right?
Because they're struggling already, right?
It's tough, right?
Yeah, so think of it as micro-strategy investing. So,
I like the sound
if you've got your normal bills and you've to pay for, you've got your kids' school fees, look at it as reduce that 20%. That's the norm down to 10 to 5%.
But do save
yes.
some. Okay.
So I want to use the analogy. When you're in a plane, right? They say put the oxygen mask on yourself first.
Yeah.
Because you need to take care of yourself.
Yes.
Now, investing in, is going to, you're going to have, if you have a job that pays in the CPF, what's being paid in there at the moment, that's fine. Leave that. Don't need to add extra. But making sure that you're just putting a little bit aside. That's why I said have that bank account that kind of puts in, even if it's $100 a month into there, just to build that fund that you just kind of leave there and have set aside. I also would like to say is, the money, if you want to, I need to look after my kids, the good thing is that your kids' savings now, you are doing that you'll pass that money on to them later. So don't think that your kids investing is a priority at the moment. Really make sure you're looking after yourself. And if it's even 5-10%, you have put that into, something that is your kind of like little secret stash. And don't feel guilty about it because you're going to need that money, because it says that dual income families need about 3 to 6 months emergency funds. Single income families unfortunately need 6 to 12 months because their reliance is on them so much. So your emergency fund is very, very key to have that kind of pocket money stashed away.
Okay, so I know a lot of single income, especially lower income families. And it's usually the wife that's at home. She's there. She's looking after the house. She's rearing the kids, if you want to put it that way.
I prefer wrangling, but yes.
Yeah, she's bringing up the kids, and that's her focus. But how can they participate in growing the family's financial well-being? Is there a way?
There is. So I actually came up with a very intricate a slide to kind of give some points. So I've got 5 points here of how a stay-at-home partner, their time, insight, management can create financial value.
Okay.
I like this.
Yeah. So
let's see this.
So the 5 pillars of a financial empowered stay-at-home partner is to be the manager. So consider yourself as the family CEO. You're the one who knows the day-to-day budgeting. You know the expenses being paid. So you're the overseer of the bills, so that your goal is to day-to-day budget, because the strategy is you oversee the bills. You can do the expenses. You can find the rebates in the house to where. And when I say rebates, it's just making sure you have a budget and you're sticking to it. Then you also can become number 2 is the planner. So you know how to save. You're the long-term. How much is in the family CPF, for your husband or wife or whatever. So you can oversee the tax reliefs, the top-ups. You can actually do that.
I mean, I just want to add to that. I mean, yes, it's a full-on 24/7 job for this, the stay-at-home partner or the mom. But I think, already with the other partner, working long hours at work, trying to bring back that, that income, I think they don't have the time, right, to just look long-term at things. So I know it's a lot on your plate already, looking after the kids at home, looking after the house, but I think you would definitely also be in a better position as well to help out in that sense. And I can see the value of that.
Yeah, definitely. And then you stay at home, you can actually boost, as a planner, you can actually boost by kind of, saving money, $300 to $600 a month by cooking meals in the house. And also coordinating the government benefits you get from the CDC vouchers to the GSTV voucher, which are the goods and services vouchers that you can actually use that. So think of that as you get that money coming in from the government. Where can that, as a planner, spend that and put that in other assets of the family's life? Savings, so maybe use some of it for savings. Maybe use it to pay down some of the credit card debt that you have. So it's kind of really the manager of that playing with.
I really like that. I like that because they are day to day, every day. They're the ones looking at the family. They're the ones making those purchases and all that. They'll be in the best position to know and have that overall view. Of where spending is happening. And manage it.
And then you've got the third one, which is the protector. Now this is for the family safety net. So if you're able to, have the insurance plans, see the wills, that's really kind of just overseeing that. The number 4 is the investor. This is an interesting one because this is where you can actually develop skills on the side because you're at home. So, when the kids are asleep or taking naps or whatever, or out playing, look to do some freelancing online as well to do some extra income, like writing, tutoring, bookkeeping, translations. Maybe start a small business from home, baking, childcare. The Skills Future, use this time to do this so that when the kids get a bit older, you're preparing to maybe do a part-time work in the future is something that you can utilize.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
So, even for a tip like $300 to $500 a month from side income helps kids' education and insurance premiums.
Definitely.
So small wins compound. And I think the last one on the list is number 5 is the educator. We talked about this last week about financial literacy and being, how to leave a legacy. One of the main points we talked about is teaching your kids about money.
That's true.
So you've got your kids there. It's a good way to kind of show them, what that saving the dollar is, chores around the house, kind of things like that you can get them to do. So you can turn the finance into a family topic, which builds, alignment to how to reduce money stress.
Yep.
And for both partners. So the kids are learning as they go about what they can do in their own lives going forward, which I think is helpful.
I love this 5-role plan for the partner that stays at home. But I think this is really great for any parent, anyone with a family. This is really good because I see it as it's going to empower them and also their kids. I mean, they may be in a situation, but it's not the end of the world. This will really empower them. I have a question though. When it comes to insurance, in a situation like this, they might feel like, that's another expense.
I know.
Would you say no? Get down to it. Do it ASAP. What?
You need to protect the breadwinner, right? So I think from what you should do right away is, and the younger you do it, the better, because your premiums will be lower.
Okay.
So I know about, you're talking about raising debt, but insurance term plan is very important for single income families, because at least cover it to the child between they're young to when they can start working. So that's basically to maybe they're about 25 years old, maybe for boys, 24 for girls. Because if anything happens to that person who gets hurt, then there's going to be additional debt onto the family because they're not going to be able to work.
Yep.
So there's some very good plans out there that you can actually do. I think Etika has a few income where it protects and gives you a payout for long-term care if you were to be disabled.
Okay.
So while you get back on your feet, you can actually pay, I think, some of the premiums could be less than $500 a month for if you get hurt, to have some incremental income that comes in, for the next, since the child is born to about 25 years. So really do that.
So you're saying that the insurance, you should get insurance for the breadwinner first?
Yes.
And then the kids next?
Breadwinner first, then the kids, yes.
Okay.
Yes. So the kids' premiums will be very low, especially in their younger age. But really protecting the single parent, because, you are, the world in that house is going to revolve around you. So you are the most important. So you need to protect yourself if anything was to happen. So really look at those. And the term plans that are out there are actually quite reasonable with some of the local insurance providers.
Okay. Yeah. That's good.
In terms of debt management, besides cutting expenses, what other strategies can a single income household use to kind of boost their investment power? What else can they do?
So I've also provided kind of another slide that we have right there. So this is for those who are on Facebook Live. So there's 3 anchors, and I think this is where we need to really single income debt management can happen. So one is protection, like we just talked, Lavinia, is really securing your income. So prioritizing your insurance. We talked about your emergency fund. It's got to be a bit higher for, and also we talked at the very beginning about prioritizing your health and your critical illness care.
Right.
The next anchor is the reduction stage. So this is shrinking your high interest debt. So prioritizing your paying down your credit cards, refinancing where possible.
Sure.
And then the third anchor is regeneration, rebuilding your wealth. So automating savings. Do smart investing. So use some of the robo-advisors that you can have out there for like $100 a month that you can actually invest in.
Okay.
I think Endowus is one. Safe is another. You can use these kind of apps to kind of do this kind of cash management.
Okay.
And like I said, pay yourself at least 5 to 10% of any income, and then build that up over time, because take care of yourself now, even if it's small, even if it's $50 a month, just have that discipline.
Just get going with it,
that
right?
discipline, yes, to keep.
We're going to go back on air. Come and join us then.
Up another throwback on 1FM 91.3.
Alrighty, we're still in talks with our financial expert Matt as we do episode 6 of our financial literacy one-on-one. I just want to tell everybody on air, you're really missing out on these amazing slides, various strategies and breaking it down that Matt has done. So what you need to do is to really view our Facebook Live video after, this whole interview has concluded. You can find us on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/1FM913. Take a look at these slides, Matt. Thank you so much for these slides. Okay,
You're
so
welcome.
take a look at that and also answer our Facebook Live question. What is your idea of a perfect salary? What's your perfect salary? Give us that number and it might just score you those dining vouchers from the Crack House.
Going back to this single income family, there are a lot of questions that pop into one's mind when we think of them.
Yes.
Some people think living on a single income or one income means that you can't afford a good quality of life. Seriously, do you reckon that's true? How can families reframe that mindset?
I don't think that really. It's all about how you're managing the aspect of the situation.
Yeah.
Right.
If there's tough times, and you talk to a lot of people who've gone through tough times, those tough times are not forever.
Yeah.
You're really
That's
looking to there's those times will build character, and I'm not going to glaze
Resilience,
over that resilience, but if you really think about putting in these steps on how you're able to build and get through that moment to what you have and get through it to the outcome, the lessons learned in life are going to be worthwhile. But true. I also say it's there's things you need to do. So where it comes to hard falls, it's where you kind of look at how can you take those kind of schemes that you're using, or those let's say CDC vouchers, how can that better your life? Because you get this money from the government, and some people just say, like, okay, let's go and spend it on a holiday. Well, what if you take that and say, okay, I'm going to cut down on the grocery bill this month, and then use, let's say, that money that you've saved for groceries and put that into something that's savings 50% for that. Or, I think in Singapore, everyone wants to go on holidays, maybe just look to doing things here and saving that money that I had for a big holiday and put that away for a rainy day, and just do something close to home. There's things coming out now. There's more and more things to do, to find fun around Singapore. So I think don't look at it as, it's like I said, every situation's different. So I don't want to sit there and just give a standard answer.
Sure.
But looking at it is really ask family for help, really talk about it as a group. And I think sometimes you talk to families that these times in their life become the backbone of what their qualities that they're made of. It makes them a closer family unit, because the kids will pitch in, the family, the elders in the family will pitch in. So really look at this as kind of a learning experience, and there's so many resources out there.
And hey, it's like what really defines that idea of a good quality of life, to live through, moments like this, to learn from it, to become closer. That is also a good quality of life, a life that you have with your family. I mean, I'm gonna take that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. Comment coming through on our Facebook page.
Sure.
Easier said than done about micro investing. Single parent or single income families sometimes can barely put food on the table or a roof over their heads. It's an endless spiral. How could one get out of this spiral?
So I understand that vesting can sometimes be that's the last thing you have on your mind.
Sure.
So going back to the original is budgeting, is making sure you're going through and using, leveraging the support schemes from the government. I really believe that Singapore government is making sure that no one is left behind. There are amazing ways that you can actually go out there and benefit. The ComCare, I think, is fantastic. One I wanted to bring back at the very beginning was the spouse relief.
Yes.
So if one spouse is not working and earns less than $8,000 annually, that working spouse partner can actually claim $2,000 for the spouse relief. So look at these are the kind of things that pop up to where this money is out there to, there's grants out there to be gotten. So go and look in those situations. But when it comes down to it is, if you need assistance, look at all the, there's like Food from the Heart. There's these different charities out there that really cater to bringing food to the table for literally to your doorstep. And a lot of the corporates I've worked for in the past do this.
Yes.
And so I've got to see firsthand how the availability is out there for people that if you need it, they'll ask for help. They come to the place where they sign up for it. And there's absolutely, to get on your feet, to feed yourself is the most important thing.
And I think in summary, what you're pointing out here is that if you're in that situation, yes, it's hard to get off, but there is actually help. You need to seek that help.
You do.
Use that help. Don't be shy about it.
Don't be shy.
All right, we're going to head back onto our Facebook Live. Come and join us as we dive deeper into this topic.
Okay, I want to skip through to kids, especially kids who are 16, 17, 18. They come from a single income family. How transparent should the parents be? With the difficulties they're facing?
I think sitting down with your 15, 16-year-old and tell them about the situation, I think the more they know is better than not knowing.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is because when in a situation and they see their mother and father stressed and they don't know why, and you're keeping that from them, they're not going to know if it's something they've done or it's something that maybe they want to help. So I think being very honest about the situation, and like I said, these kind of situations have been proven, with the openness and honesty to bring families together. And having that, and this will build the character for the child. And I'm not a child psychologist, but what I'm saying is that for these situations, mostly than not, the child will want to help and contribute anyway. So if they can do something to take the pressure off mom or dad, I think it's worth having that conversation. And it's a life lesson that they can have as well.
That's true.
That's something that's really valuable. And you never know, that person would be able to, maybe he or she's good at something that they can do for extra income to help support mom and dad during these tough times.
Wow. That's really changing my perspective on things, because you usually, I came from the generation where my parents, my grandmother would hide the unpleasant things, the negative things, because they don't want to scare me, hurt me, traumatize me. But actually, it's quite the reverse. Yeah. I think even now I should be more honest with my kids.
I think people don't give their kids enough credit.
Oh, that's true. Kids are more resilient than you have.
A lot of parents don't realize.
That's true. That's a good point. Yeah.
Many parents fear financial risks like investing. How do they find that right balance between being too cautious and taking too many risks?
So there's two trains of thought. So there's the too conservative, where I think you invest in really low yield plans and you lock up money premiums that could probably be investing in more moderate risk to grow your money.
Okay.
So I think that is probably one of the biggest ways to kind of avoid that. Really be a bit more risk adverse, especially in your younger years, like we mentioned in previous ones.
Okay.
Then there's also this train of thought, you're too risky, where you're throwing your money into something and someone says, I'm locked into something that, I can't get out of, or I don't know, I've wasted money, because you don't know what the underlying investment is.
Sure.
So really have a balanced approach.
Okay.
Know what you're investing in. Talk to a professional if you don't know what it is. But at the same time, the money that you're saving is precious. You want to be very careful with it. You don't want to lose it. So really know what you're investing into, and know your risk tolerance.
Yeah.
Okay. We've got a couple of more things that I just want to try and deal with.
Yes.
A practical way. No, we touched on that a little earlier. There was another one. The government schemes you spoke about. I mean, you gave us various platforms that we can go to, and various tools. Are these easily attainable, or are they all dependent upon income levels? In other words, does a family have to be below a certain income in order to get onto these platforms?
Oh. Yeah. So certain of them you do. The baby bonus for one is more for, I guess, conventional families.
Yeah.
So the ComCare one is the social service offices will actually do assessment. The other one I mentioned was the sorry, I just want to check my.
Is it the spouse relief? No.
Spouse relief one was that spouse relief is that the other spouse has to be earning less than $800,000.
Right.
And you need to then prove that you've got taxable income, and then they will be able to pay out $2,000 for that spouse relief for not working. Yes.
Alrighty.
Okay.
We're going to jump back on air for our last bit of the interview as well. Come and join us.
Okay, we've got just one final question for Matt as we close this interview off on air. What is one piece of financial advice you think every single income household needs to hear? Something that they can start applying today.
Yeah.
What advice would you give them?
Don't ever think that there's no hope. I think that's the biggest. And you can be earning $2,000 a month, or you can be earning $10,000 a month. How you manage that and budget that amount can really add to their quality of life. So if you take away if you look at the things that you need is like a roof over your head, food and clothing, and really focus on that with an attainable of I want a goal, it will make you start saving more, or make you in a situation know that I can get through this rough patch. If it's low income families, don't be ashamed to ask for help, because you really be surprised. I mean, we talked about the percentages of single families doing this in Singapore. So it could be your neighbor, it could be your friends.
1 in 4, as you pointed out.
So it's conversation, and so one is asking for help.
Right.
Budgeting, savings. Right. Don't worry about investing at the moment if you can't afford that.
Sure.
That will come.
I mean, as you said, investing is actually the last of the pillars, right? It is a pillar.
It is a pillar.
But it's the last one that you want to look at, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So really do your debt management, do your budgeting.
Do budgeting and
at any income you're doing, $2,000 a month, $4,000 a month.
Yeah.
And really know where every dollar and cent's going into.
Yep.
And I think you'll feel a bit more comfort, and then know that at those times where things are rough, you might be able to cut back a little bit more, and those times are good, you might be able to spend a little bit more.
Yeah.
So
because
really,
you're well aware of your finances. Right.
And also in tough times, give yourself quick wins. If you find something that happens, celebrate as a family. If you get that extra couple $100 in whatever, celebrate that and talk about like how we did this. How can we replicate this going forward? What is the lessons learned to get that extra money?
Right.
I think is very important. Yes.
So to keep the learning as well ongoing for just yourself and also for your kids, just the whole family. Yeah, I think that's really great. Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. Matthew, thank you so much again.
Thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely brilliant. Matthew Nixon, our financial expert on financial literacy 101. We dealt with single income families.
So if you want to find out more, maybe get in touch with Matt, you can find him on his Instagram. Look for Matthew A. Nixon.
Yes.
A stands for what? Alexander.
Alexander, yeah.
What a nice name, I tell you. Alrighty, so Matthew A. Nixon on Instagram to get in touch with him, for more advice and more. And don't forget, answer our Facebook Live question. What's your perfect salary? FD says his is 1 trillion.
Absolutely.
I better not ask for anything, or I'll be out of a job.
We've got $150 worth of dining vouchers from the Crack House.
Up for grabs. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you, guys.
Getting you the Flying Dutchman and Lavinia on the Morning Drive, 1FM.